Welcome back to the channel. In terms of the families, if I was supposed to put them individually, you guys have been absolutely killing it. The support, the engagement, the way you've been showing up, it honestly means a lot. Thank you once again for being here. Now let's get into today's topic because, as always, the crypto space never fails to deliver some fascinating stories and powerful lessons. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing discussed here should be taken as financial, investment, or trading advice. So, let's start with a quick story. Coin fashion of the day. Someone bought 3 Ethereum worth of MOG within the first hour it dropped. Over time, that little gamble turned into over $50,000. Pretty impressive, right? Turning a few grand into 50 grand sounds like the kind of win people dream about. But here's the kicker. They gambled it away over time, trying to keep chasing those wins, trying to get back in the game, and eventually ended up with nothing. Now, I don't know exactly how much 3 ETH was worth back when MOG first came out. Let's be realistic and assume somewhere between $6,000 and $9,000. That's not a small amount, but it's also not something that would instantly change your life. Turning that into $50,000, though, that's where things start to feel like you're playing in the big leagues. For a brief moment, you're the king, you're the queen, you're untouchable. You look at your portfolio and think, wow, I made it. But then reality hits. You think back and realize, damn, if I had just held a little longer, whether a few weeks or a few months, I could have been sitting on hundreds of thousands or even millions. That sting, that regret, oh, it's real. And it doesn't just disappear overnight. I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes get stuck in a perfectionist mindset. Actually, not sometimes, most of the time. Even if something is 97% or 98% perfect, I'll obsess over the 2% that's missing. It's frustrating. It eats away at you. And in the world of crypto, that mindset can be brutal. You start replaying scenarios in your head. If I just held for another week, if I just didn't sell too early, if I just bought more at the dip, the ifs never stop. And they can drive you crazy. This particular story is the kind of thing that would personally eat me up for a long while. Imagine turning a modest investment into $50,000 and still walking away feeling like you lost. That's the emotional roller coaster of crypto in a nutshell. Sad, frustrating, and yet, ironically, also a reminder of just how much potential this market holds. But let's zoom out for a second. At the end of the day, making $50K is still a win. A lot of people don't even get that far. Plenty of people lose money. Plenty of people get scammed. Plenty of people gamble it all away and end up with nothing to show for it. That's the reality. And honestly, nobody could have predicted with 100% certainty that MOG would perform as well as it did. Now, while we can't change the past, we can look at what's ahead. And one project I strongly believe is positioned to do fantastic things this cycle is Zebec Network. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big update from Zebec. The network has officially crossed a massive milestone, over 5 billion Zebec tokens staked. That is no small feat. Every single token staked adds more strength to the ecosystem and lays down the foundation for what's coming next. And here's the kicker. You can earn up to 15% a year by staking Zebec. That's a very attractive number. But as with everything in crypto, there are details you've got to pay attention to. If you head over to the official staking site, you'll notice they often offer different lock-in periods. 1 month, 3 months, sometimes 6 months, and even up to a year. Now, here's my personal take. Be careful with long lock-in periods. Anything over 3 months can start to feel dangerous. Why? Because altcoin season doesn't wait for anyone. Once it kicks off, it moves fast, and it doesn't stop until it's over. That window of opportunity is short, and the last thing you want is to have your funds locked up when your token is pumping, and you're up tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands, but you can't cash out because you were chasing an extra 2% yield. That's why I usually stick with flexible staking options or shorter terms, like 1 month or 3 months, depending on the market context. I like having the freedom to move my funds if needed. The worst feeling is being trapped in a contract while everyone else is cashing out. Now let's talk numbers, because the fundamentals matter. Zebec is currently ranked 142 in the world out of over 9,500 active cryptos. That's already impressive for a relatively new player. Its market cap sits around $373 million with about 15 million in daily volume. Not massive compared to giants like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but solid nonetheless. Performance-wise, Zebec is down about 20% over the past month, down 6.5% in the last week, but slightly up 2% in the past 24 hours. So, nothing too wild, but it's holding its ground. Importantly, it's still not listed on many big exchanges, and while some might see that as a drawback, I see it as untapped potential, because once those listings come, liquidity and exposure will follow. Now let's revisit the big picture. Last time, we crunched the numbers and looked at whether Zebec could realistically hit $1. Based on calculations, partnerships, and market behavior, we concluded that even hitting 50 cents could be realistic. If XRP goes to $10 as many believe, and Zebec manages to capture even 10% of that value through partnerships or similar adoption, a 50-cent token price is within reach. And speaking of XRP, let's do a quick comparison. People often underestimate what happens when a token has real-world value and institutional adoption. Look back at XRP's chart. At one point, it was trading at fractions of a penny, literally half a cent. Then it exploded all the way to 3.30 cents. That's not just growth, that's a monumental shift. Now, I'm not saying Zebec is XRP, but the comparison matters because both represent technologies that bring genuine utility to the financial system. Zebec is pioneering continuous settlement for payments, something that can fundamentally transform payroll, remittances, and subscription models. If big players adopt it, and let's not kid ourselves, the financial world is controlled by a handful of massive institutions, then money will flow in. And when money flows in, prices go up. It's that simple. If Zebec gets tied to the big boys through partnerships, whether directly with XRP or with similar institutions, we're looking at serious growth potential. Even if it doesn't hit crazy numbers like $3, even 20 cents would represent a 50x return from today's levels. That's the kind of asymmetric bet that makes crypto so appealing. Now, of course, risks exist. If altcoin season underperforms, or if Zebec faces unexpected setbacks, the outcome could be different. But the risk is why the rewards are so high. If everything were guaranteed, the returns would be tiny. So let's bring it back to the chart. Right now, Zebec is showing mixed signals. We bounced off an initial support level, but the overall structure still leans bearish. Selling pressure has been dominant since August, with multiple lower highs forming. The recent buy candles haven't been particularly strong. Last week's sell candle was massive, showing just how much weight sellers still carry. Currently, we're watching closely how Zebec reacts around the 0.00374 level. If it holds and forms a higher low, we could see a move to contest the next resistance level. But if it breaks down, more pain could follow before any reversal. This is where patience comes in. Crypto isn't just about timing the perfect entry or exit. It's about conviction in projects that actually matter. Zebec has already proven itself with staking milestones, strong tokenomics, and consistent development. The question is whether you have the patience to wait out the short-term noise for the long-term payoff. Remember the MOG story we started with? The biggest mistake wasn't buying or even selling, it was the lack of patience and discipline. Don't repeat that mistake with Zebec. Recognize the potential, manage the risks, and play the long game. Because at the end of the day, crypto isn't about chasing quick wins. It's about positioning yourself in front of trends that are going to reshape industries. Zebec isn't just another token. It's building infrastructure that can redefine how money flows. And if that vision plays out, today's prices will look laughably cheap in hindsight. If you found value in this video, make sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. Your support really helps this community grow, and together, we can stay ahead of the curve in the crypto world.